camera set up here.
All right. And if
Are
the
you
rest,
ready?
yes, we'll make sure that the rest of us are muted so that
You
we're
bet.
not on top of them. All right, thank you.
Okay. Annette Richmond fell into the career field 20 years ago. I can totally relate. Landing as a vocational counselor for a nonprofit training and placement facility after earning her master's degree in psychology. Like so many nonprofits, they had the heart but lacked resources, which sent Annette to the internet to seek free resources. At that time, though, she found very little and instead decided to take it upon herself to launch Career Intelligence, the Savvy Careerist resource, in 2000. The site took off, becoming a highly regarded resource that has been recommended by top universities such as Harvard, Dartmouth, and Cornell. As a resume writer, Annette is proud to have earned multiple industry certifications, including the Certified Master Resume Writer designation held by fewer than 50 resume writers worldwide. She also hosts a podcast, a popular LinkedIn live show, and is growing a club on Clubhouse. Annette currently serves on the NRWA's board of directors and was honored to serve for 2 years on CDI's certification committee. Her career advice has been published in Forbes, Thrive Global, Medium, the Huffington Post, the Chicago Tribune, Monster, Vault, the Glass Hammer, and the Wall Street Journal. Please help me in welcoming Annette Richmond.
Yay,
Well,
welcome, Annette, and thank you, Donna, for making this happen for us. We appreciate you.
well, I appreciate that. So I assume you're going to let me share my screen so that you can see what I'm talking about here. All right. So I'm sharing my screen and you can see my screen, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I just want to say I was very proud to have served 5 years on the NRWA board of directors, 2 as a director of member support and 3 as membership chair. And I'm excited that this year, when I go to the conference, I will have no duties. I will have no duties except to have fun and then, of course, give a presentation, which I'm also honored to do. So, I just want to start with talking about video. And I kept this on a bit of the short side because Donna said to make sure there's time for questions. But, a lot of short form video is all about the mindset. So as you're listening to me give you some, information about the how and the platforms and the smartphone apps and all that stuff to think about, is this you when you're thinking about doing video? Because a lot of it, as I said, is really, really the mindset. So let's just jump into it. So this is video visibility, building your brand with short form video and live streaming, 2 of my favorite things. So who am I? You already, already talked a lot about who I am. Things have changed a little bit. So I am now doing more content marketing as a trainer and coach. But I did, have that time at the magazine and studied writing and media in college, which really just grew my already love of media that I had before that. So today we're going to talk about a few different areas. Social media strategies, some platforms, some smartphone apps, and they're all free. I'm going to give you some video strategies and talk a little bit also about live streaming. So first, let's talk about some trends. Now, you may be aware of some of these, you may not. So the first thing I want to talk about, and it's interesting how there's so much talk over the years about LinkedIn not being Facebook, and yet LinkedIn seems to be leaning more and more into video. And one indication of that is the testing of the new video tab on mobile. And I don't have it yet. I check every day, but they haven't given it to me yet. It's kind of like audio all over again. Not for me, not for me. And then all of a sudden, finally you get it. So I did, I'm sorry, this is cut off somehow. I did get an image of what it looks like from an article that I read online on TechCrunch, I believe. And this is how it looks once you have that video tab in your mobile. And it will be very much like a TikTok TikTok stream. So LinkedIn seems to be, to me, this is my opinion, seeing TikTok as perhaps a bit of a more competitor and seeing people wanting to view video in this manner. I've also seen, this is my observation, I think you've probably seen it too, that LinkedIn has become friendlier to what's called more the edutainment video, a mix of entertainment and education. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. Now, on the flip side, TikTok, if you're not on TikTok, it's been very much for the portrait, and Square has worked, but they recently introduced a new full screen button. So there have been a lot of landscape videos, what we typically think of on YouTube videos on TikTok for quite a while, kind of as far as I can remember, the last several years. A lot of it's from news organizations, other organizations like that. But TikTok is just now recently introduced this full screen button. So if you're looking at a video and it is in that landscape, if they consider it to be an eligible video, underneath you will see a little tab that says full screen. And if you tap on that, it opens the video to cover the entire display of your phone, which makes it much easier to visit those, to view those videos. I also want to mention that TikTok is now expanding to uploads of 30 minutes on the desktop. Still 10 minutes on the app, but 30 minutes. That's something they're rolling out. I did get it already. I'm fairly active, but not as much as I should be on TikTok. And another thing I want to mention, because captions, I think you're probably all aware, are very important because, we want to be inclusive of our audience. So I was just doing some research for another project, and I think it's 35.5 million people identified as either deaf or having trouble hearing in the United States. So you want to be inclusive to that audience. But also, if you don't want to bother thinking about other people, think about it that 68% is sort of the rough average. The surveys are kind of in that range. Watch video with the sound off, particularly on mobile. Now, I don't know, maybe they're, at work. Maybe it's because some people learn better by reading than listening. So on to social media. So I just want to go through these formats quickly. You may be aware of them. These are the formats that kind of work on the platforms. And the platforms that I'm going to be talking about today are YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Instagram, to think of the fourth one, and Instagram. Those are the ones that I use. Those are the ones most of the people I know who are on different platforms use. I just don't do Facebook, so I'm not talking about that. I was just having a discussion earlier about Facebook kind of seems to be losing people to other platforms. So the formats really quickly: portrait, Reels, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. Square kind of works across the platforms. Landscape doesn't really work on Instagram. At least that's what I've found. Although I do get viewers when I live stream to Instagram, which is something that's kind of recent. I do get people actually coming on and watching it. So I don't know how they're watching it on their phone, but somehow they are. Now, talking about duration, LinkedIn, you can upload videos up to 15 minutes. Now, obviously, we're not really recording on that platform. TikTok is 10 minutes on mobile. And as I mentioned, 30 minutes on desktop. Now, Instagram Reels, I had thought they were 60 seconds, but the Reels are 90 seconds, and you can upload 15-minute videos. YouTube, very similar. Shorts are 60 seconds, and upload videos up to 15 minutes. Now, they all have native scheduling. I know we were all waiting forever for LinkedIn to get native scheduling, and I think they did a couple of years ago. So LinkedIn, you can only schedule on the desktop. The same thing goes with TikTok. While Instagram, you can only schedule on the mobile, which seems kind of counterintuitive. And YouTube, as far as I know, it's basically on the desktop, although I could be mistaken on that. And one of the things that I found interesting is, some of these apps not allowing you to schedule on on the other platform. It's just, I don't know. I guess they can't be everything to everyone like we wish they would be. Just for a quick look, sometimes it's easier to visualize than talk about it. This is how those different formats look. Okay. On to the apps, which I think you'll find more interesting. Now, the three smartphone apps that I recommend and I use are Clips, CapCut, and InShot. There are a bunch of them. There are a bunch of platforms that have their on the desktop and also um, available on smartphones. If anyone is starting off with doing short form video, and they have an iPhone, I always recommend that they start with Clips because it's extremely user friendly. You can record or upload videos. You can also upload images. You can edit on Clips. They have a variety of filters, and they also have captions. You can auto generate captions on Clips. CapCut is available for iPhone and Android. So if you don't have an iPhone, jump onto CapCut, which allows you also to record, upload, editing, but you can also add music as well as captions. Now, I will mention if you're thinking about TikTok, which you can also, record on and everything, CapCut is owned by the same company. So if you're thinking of recording there, it gives you kind of that very same experience as you would have on TikTok. Now, InShot is great. It's also available for iPhone and Android. Now, you are not able to record on that app. And again, these are all free, or they have free versions of them. Clips is completely free. CapCut completely free. InShot does have a subscription, but you can use it without paying. You can upload videos. You can add music. They have all kinds of cool animations, and you can also add add captions. And some of the things that I used it a lot when we used to have profile videos, I would create my holiday video with my dancing Snoopy. I would upload that, add a little bit of music and some captions or text on it in InShot. So if you are just wanting to maybe venture in to video and you're not wanting to say have your face on camera, based on the conversations I have, the main concern of people being on camera is that they are talking on camera. So if you have videos, sort of those behind the scenes, which I'm going to talk a little bit about videos, you can use those on something like InShot and just add some music and animations and things. So this is just I'm going to show you a couple of things. So this is Clips. This is a sort of a behind the scenes look. As you can see on the bottom with the big red arrow, when you record on Clips, you can record all in one shot if you like to. I record one line at a time. Now that makes it easier to, if you make a mistake, you can just, stop and start and create it again. But the clips on the bottom can be edited individually. They can be moved around. You can see the other arrow for the editing. You can go into like an individual clip and you can kind of trim it, or you can split it and cut it and do things like that. You can also go into the features, and the features is where you have filters and animations and to add text and things like that. So when you get into the features, that's like a whole other things. They have a lot of filters. I like vivid. You can have yourself look a little brighter or very dramatic. You can even have black and white if you would rather have something like that. So I see some questions and some people in the chat. If those are questions, I'd like to hold it to the end if that works for you. Okay, you're nodding. Okay, cool. Um, this is a peek into CapCut. This is a video that's our girl Emma. That our dogs think that they're social media influencers because I post them on social media all the time. You can when with them, it's a little bit different for the record. You can see the record button, and if you see the sort of green ring around it, you see that tiny little white line, that's the space between the clips, because this I recorded in two different sort of little miniature segments. You can record it all at once if you like, or you can just record segment by segment. One of the reasons that I like to record segment by segment is that if I make a mistake, I can just stop, give it a moment, and then start over again. And it's easier sometimes to just edit it out rather than to keep starting over and over and over again, because that's how I think a lot of people end up, pulling their hair out because it's taking them, 2 hours to make a 2-minute video. But a lot of the things are the strategies that you use. When I mentioned that it's like TikTok, TikTok has the same kind of interface here. And you can see along the side the editing. Again, there's features, you can add captions, you can add all kinds of things on CapCut. They also have some really cool templates that you can use it makes it easy to make sort of fun videos. You can do a lot of interesting things, but it doesn't take a lot to really do a basic video. It's really pretty easy. You just got to play with it a little bit. But I will mention one thing and I just want to show you this because I am all thumbs when it comes to, my phone working on it. So I don't know if you can see this. This is what I use to work on my phone. And it's a stylus. So it has a little rubber tip on it, and you can use that if you're working on your phone, because for me with the thumbs, I am always making a mistake. Okay, let's talk about some video strategies, and we're still on the short form videos now. So this is what I mentioned before. There's really basically sort of these 4 types of content. And one of them, the first one that I'm mentioning, is edutainment. And I think we've been seeing this more and more on LinkedIn. I've been seeing it on other platforms for a while. And it's designed to educate while also entertaining people. A lot of times when videos like this, on LinkedIn and other platforms, you have people doing some, they may be blowing a horn to get your attention, or coming in off camera or something like that, just to make it a little bit more fun and interesting. And part of the reason that this is sort of really growing over the last few years is it makes learning more accessible to the user, to the audience. We all know the how-to educational videos. We've been looking at them forever. I do them. I'm sure you do them too. We usually see them sort of the picture in picture, someone with the PowerPoint or a website behind them, and they're explaining. And these are generally more, straightforward, and they have a structure of how to, and the whole goal is just to teach people how to do something. Now, fun entertainment, I don't see this much on LinkedIn, but I do see it TikTok, obviously, and Instagram. And I am seeing it, some entertainment also, strictly entertainment on LinkedIn, but not as much. But the whole goal of these type of videos is to really just grab and entertain the viewer. Now, I see a lot of this stuff on TikTok. They're, very entertaining dog videos. I see a lot of celebrities on TikTok. If you watch Grey's Anatomy, I think it's Chris Comack who plays Dr. Link on Grace. He has an account. He and his wife have an account there, and they do these husband and wife skits all the time, and it's really, really quite funny. I see Kevin Bacon on there dancing, and but the whole idea behind them, if you want to even think about them for your business, is to get people to share them, because those are the kind of things that are more often shared rather than, other types of videos. Now, behind the scenes is also growing on LinkedIn as well as other platforms. I had a guest recently on my show talking about doing BTS. I'm like, what's that? And she's like, behind the scenes. Now, I knew behind the scenes. I hadn't heard BTS yet. Now, those are, for companies, it's it's obviously to let people see employees and whatnot. And some of the recent studies that I've done, the whole thing behind it is it helps to humanize the company for the target audience, the consumer of that company's product or service. And it really lets consumers really like that. They want to see more of it because they want to see kind of, I don't know, maybe how the sausage is made. It might be a little peek at you working in your office. I see a lot of, and I'm sure you see them too. I believe they're referred to by photographers as personal branding photos. Well, those are fine. Somebody, me sitting at my computer working, but if you can see somebody doing something, that's even more humanizing. And that's also a way to share a bit of who you are, humanize you to your target audience without having to be talking on camera. So, something to consider. Okay, now I want to talk to you about three things here, and I already really talked to you about the captions, and I know that there are a lot of people, friends of mine, who adamantly say, never write a script. I can't write a script. If I write a script, I'm going to be, stiff and formal, and it really doesn't come off like me. I just know what I want to say, and I sit down in front of the camera and I record. And if that works for you, that's fine. But I find with me, if I just sit down at the camera, I could be talking for 4 minutes when I'm trying to make a 2-minute video. So the thing about scripts, though, if you do write them, you want to write them the way you speak. So if you would say something like, I'd never create a video with dancing dogs, you don't want to write it, I would never, because that's how you come off sounding formal and stiff and stilted and just not appealing in any way. But the reason that I like scripts, and again, you just write short sentences, however you speak, is they can be they can really save you time. If you have a bunch of scripts written, you can put them in a Word document. Notion is great for that. If you put something in there, they actually have a little space in one area where you can just put the script, because you can sit down and it's very easy to just have, like I like to have a little makeup on and my hair washed before I sit down to do some videos. So you can sit down when you're camera ready, or not, however you want to do it, and just record one right after the other. And I do that a lot because I use clips a lot, and I record them one after another. And then I sit down maybe while I'm watching the news and I'm editing them on my phone. And so that is a way, if you're like me, it's just you, or maybe you have a virtual assistant, a few times a week. Or even if you have a staff, it might save them time as well to edit your videos. But it's something that can help you save time. And it also helps you just make fewer mistakes than if you're just rambling. Again, I think most people, and I think um, when you coach your clients on interviewing and you tell them they want to have what they're going to say, they want to know it, because otherwise they're going to be rambling. Same thing with creating video. Now, captions, I will say that those 3 apps that I showed you all have captioning, and we talked about the media platforms all have captioning. If if you are doing something where you're maybe recording the video on your phone and you're going to work on it in Canva, because you can, I'm not going to talk about that because we have a limited time, but you can record it on your phone, upload it to Canva, do your editing there, but they don't have captioning ability. So there are a wide variety of platforms that you can use to to put captions on your videos. And the recording strategy, I already gave that to you. Record one line at a time. And it really, it's so much easier because you don't have to think about it. I sit in front of my camera, I look at the line, get back, say the line. And besides not having to memorize, it's much easier. I don't know about you, but if I'm talking and I'm excited and then I'm talking and I'm talking and I'm just not as energetic. But if you record one line at a time, you can kind of keep that up. So that's my best tip recording strategy. And the people that have tried it, the people that I know have tried it, have found it to be very helpful as well. Okay, on to the live streaming. Let's go. I love live streaming. I just did a live stream before coming on here today, talking with this really interesting person. But anyway, so there are a few different styles if you're thinking about doing LinkedIn Live. And again, with you can stream to, one of the beauties about live streaming is you can get a whole bunch of content all at the same time. So you can go solo, you can just turn the live on and start talking. You can do a presentation or whatever. I find that uncomfortable. I have friends. My friend Brenda Meller does that all the time. So if that's something you want to do, certainly an option. Most of the, I have a lot of friends and colleagues who do LinkedIn Lives. Most of them are done in the sort of interview fashion. It's usually you as the host with a guest, or, and if you want to sort of ease into doing lives, guest on other people's shows. And that way you kind of get the feel and the rhythm of how it works. You can also do a panel discussion. Now, I did a few of those. I see them all the time, more often now on audio events, but you can do a panel discussion. I did a show called the Trend Talk Show for a while, and I would have 3 experts in their field and me on to talk about a particular topic. I will tell you that if you're doing a panel from personal experience, it can be challenging because, who can make it at this time? Who can make it at that time? And so it does take a lot of, planning and work. And the last thing that I want to mention as far as the style goes is think about if you want to share questions with your guests in advance. I've tried it both ways. I never sent questions. And then I was watching a video with a live stream guru, a guy on LinkedIn, and he said, oh, if you want to have a better show, send your guests the questions in advance so they can prepare. So I thought, okay, let me try it. So I started sending questions in advance. And my show is very casual anyway. It's more like a conversation. And most of the shows that I enjoy watching are in that manner, which is obviously why I do my show that way. But then I had a couple of instances, one where I was talking to my guest backstage before we went live. And I said, well, I was also going to mention this. And she's like, oh, no, I don't, I'm not prepared for that. It wasn't on the questions you gave me. I was like, okay, so that's not a good sign. And then I had a guest on, someone that I've known for over 20 years who is local to me. She's a coach. I know she knows her stuff. So I sent her the questions in advance. And as I'm talking to her, she's looking off like this, and she's like looking over on the side. And then she'd turn back and she'd respond to me. And then she'd look off down on the side. And it was so horrible. I mean, it looked horrible. And that was the last time I ever sent questions to anyone, because you can have that problem. So I do not send questions. I tell my guests it's going to be conversational, nothing to prepare. when we get backstage before we go live, I will say something like, well, I can have you introduce yourself. I thought based on what you do, we would talk about this and this and this. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you to share a final thought. And that has worked for me. So, always try and see what works for you. But in my experience, questions are not a good thing. Okay. If you're planning on doing LinkedIn Lives, you also have to think of what I'm calling logistics. When are you going to have them? You want to be consistent with whatever you do. When I first started doing my show, the first year I did it on Friday afternoons because when I was doing the first show, I invited my friend Lisa to please be my guest. And she said, oh, I can only do it Friday afternoon. So I said, okay. So I did that for like a year. And then I decided I analyzed, you want to analyze the other shows that are on at the same time. And I settled on Thursday at 11 a.m. And I did that for a while. And then because if you want to have guests who are maybe across the pond, sometimes midday works better. So you have to think about the day of the week. Do you want to do it on the weekend, weekday, the time? Do you want to do it midday? You do have to think about I'm on the East Coast, so I have to think about people on the West Coast. If I want to have a guest, how early can I be? If I want to get viewers, how early can I be? Most of the shows that I see are kind of around that, 11, 12, 1 in the afternoon Eastern, or they're in the evening, 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. So it's something to think about. And you also want to think about the length of time your show is going to be. When I started, I did an hour. Hour's a long time. Then I cut back after a year, I cut back and I did 45 minutes. And I was watching shows, my friend Jillian's show, my Brenda's show, and they were 30 minutes. And I thought, I'd try that. So I started in 2023 in January, 30 minutes. And 30 minutes I like is because sometimes if you have a really cool guest like I had today, we went like 40 minutes, and that's okay. But sometimes you might have a guest where, maybe you're asking a question and they're giving you more or less kind of yes or no answers or very short answers. And it can be a struggle to fill that 30 minutes. And I also think with the 30 minutes, you can like leave them wanting more. I mean, I would rather end a show where I want to keep talking to my guest. And I'm sure I would rather watch a show where I want them to keep going than say, oh my gosh, is this ever going to be over? So those are just some things to think about when it comes to live streaming. Basic equipment, if you are live streaming, if you're doing short form videos on your phone, you don't need anything really, a light maybe. If you are doing, live streaming, you want to have a good camera. I have a Logitech high def. I had another one, more inexpensive. I like Logitech. I've used them. They have cameras at various price points. You want to have a good mic. Now, I like blue. Now, I had a blue Snowball for quite a while. They're like less than $50. I think they might even be less than $40. So I had that for a while. And then I wanted the Blue Yeti because it's a little bit better. And I waited for Amazon Prime, and then I got that. And you can find a lot of things, you find them online, you buy them on sale. Logitech makes lights. There's another company called Newer. I have some lights by them. They're okay. And a lot of things, it's very inexpensive. You do want to have some tripods. You want, and probably if you're doing short form video and you're also doing live streaming, you probably want to have a variety. You might want to have one that sits on your desk or that holds your phone. You want to have maybe another one that holds your webcam. If you're doing a live stream, I have mine on sort of a swing arm tripod. If you have it like on the top of your monitor, it's really not going to look that great. So you want to have some tripods. lavaliers are nice for your phone if you want to have a little better sound. You can find inexpensive lavaliers. Rode is a good brand. If you're looking at wireless lavaliers, those are kind of pricey. So, and again, smartphone, all you need is the phone. All you need is a good camera and a decent mic if you're doing live streaming. I have a couple of lights here. Neither of them are inexpensive. But no matter what you're doing with this stuff, you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. You start and the except for my mic, all of the things that I have, they're all like less than $100, except for the mic. So these are just the preferred platforms for StreamYard. When I started, they had like 5. Now they have like 10. These are the ones I use. StreamYard. It's very user friendly. Most of my friends and colleagues that do lives use StreamYard. Restream, I would say, is sort of the next one on the list as being most popular. There are quite a few people that use that. And this is the destinations. This is in StreamYard. And one of the things, and I've only used StreamYard, so I can really only speak to that. I've been a guest on Restream Lives. I've never been on any other platform as a guest, but it's very easy to stream to multiple platforms. As I mentioned, I stream to my company Facebook page, which nobody goes to, and I never go on Facebook. But I stream there anyway because I can, because I have a package that allows me to. You can stream to your LinkedIn profile. Most people get more engagement on their LinkedIn profiles. There are larger companies and some smaller companies that stream from their LinkedIn page. I know Marsh McClellan, they do live streaming on their company page sometimes, and there's other companies that do that as well, which can be, engagement for potential clients. I will tell you that you need to have 150 followers on your company page in order to stream from the company page. YouTube, why not? YouTube is, I stream to YouTube also, and I have a whole, channel up there. If you set up YouTube, you have to plan for a few days in advance. It takes them like a couple of days to turn it around. LinkedIn, if you get LinkedIn Live and you're using like StreamYard, they kind of connect in it and it kind of knows. You have to apply for YouTube. Twitter was pretty much direct. You just connect with destinations. And Instagram is something new. It's an extra step, but I get people there. And so the thing, and another thing about live streaming, besides the fact that you can get content on a variety of platforms all at the same time, is if you're nervous about doing video, sometimes it's easier to do live because you're live. So just to go over, this is what we talked about: social media trends, some social media platforms, some smartphone apps, and video strategies and live streaming. Now, I did mention to Donna that I am starting a course, and I was going to share a little something about that. And before we go to Q&A, which I'm happy to hang out and do with you, I just want to mention, if you have learned from this and would like to learn more, I'm just launching my short form video mastery course on Monday, as a matter of fact. And I will tell you, this is who it's for: people committed to doing video, people who want to see step-by-step demonstrations, want to learn about AI for generating content ideas, and if they want to be more cool and confident. And the reason for that is creating video is part of the program. So if you're just thinking that, oh, I want to go to something where I'm just going to learn how to do stuff, this is not for you. And I'm not going to take any more time because I'm not here to talk about this. I am offering, I'm doing some early bird specials. This is a code for your organization. If you decide that you want to register, look at it. You scan the QR code, you can go there and learn more about it. I'm not going to, ramble on about it because I'm not here for that. But you can use this code. It's valid till Saturday, and it'll give you $50 off the program. Okay, so on to Q&A. Do we have any questions?
Hi there. First of all, thank you so much for doing what you've done. I really, really appreciate it. I wanted to also, before we move forward into Q&A, that last slide you had up there, it said $50 early bird special.
Mhm.
So that's not the cost of the program. You said it $50
No,
off.
no. That's $50. It's $50 off the program.
Okay, so that
The-
says $50 early bird special. So it made me think that the program costs $50.
no,
Okay.
no, sorry.
Okay. No. Just trying to get some clarity there for somebody that
Yep.
clicks on it. So you can click on the code you all and take a look there as well. All
Yeah,
right.
you can go on there and, again, I don't want to spend the time going through and talking to you about all the stuff on there. If you're interested, go there and look. There's a lot of information on the page, and the course isn't open until Monday. So I have a few of these sort of early bird special. I should say $50 off instead of $50, but thank you for that. So
All right. Questions. I saw one question that came up in the chat that was asked. Do you use a teleprompter when you use a script? And somebody, they use the Big View app, but they wanted to know if you use something more advanced.
So no, I don't use teleprompter. I have Big View also. I got a lifetime license for it, and I think I recently did a video that I put on LinkedIn of me doing the teleprompter. I'd be curious to hear what your experiences is with Big View. I found that when I used Big View, and I had it set for being on pause, pause if I was silent. So as I was speaking, I was recording my line, reading my lines, and I messed up because we do, as we do. And so I stopped and it stopped. But then to re-record it, when I started talking again, it started rolling. So I couldn't effectively, I had to kind of fit it up, try to fit it in there, and as it was scrolling. So I don't know. I don't I my experience, I think people think teleprompters are really easy. We see people on TV and they're reading from the teleprompters, but the teleprompters are timed for them. And they're practiced at it. I'm sure if I practiced, I could be better. But, for me, it really took more time. I did it as an experience. Plus, I've been just doing some studying up for this thing that I'm launching. And while one of the cons of using teleprompters is that it sometimes it can hamper your ability to sort of speak off the cuff. So if you're someplace and they say, "Can you get up and talk for 20 minutes?" You're not as able to do that. So I hope that answers your question, but I'm curious to hear what your experience is.
That was my question. I used to write scripts like when I was first using video and nervous, but now I host a podcast and I'm like, whatever, I just do it.
Uh-huh.
But I just wondered if there was something better. I didn't really have a problem with it. I really hate when I watch somebody on a video and I could tell they're reading
I know. That's the
something.
thing. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there are bigger and better options, but I don't have them. I buy a lot of stuff from a site called AppSumo, and I had, and I got that a few years ago. I've used it now and again, but more for demonstration than anything else.
I have
That's
used
fine.
teleprompter sometimes when I'm doing just an intro of something and then
Uh-huh.
go into something else that needs to be more conversational because I volunteer one of the things with AARP and they do a live thing. So every month I'm reading what that is. The
Uh-huh.
teleprompter that I use, and I can't think of the name of it now, Lori, is you can make it go faster or slower.
Uh-huh.
And so it doesn't, you don't have to catch up to it necessarily. So there are options that are out there so that you don't end up looking like you're reading like
I
this.
know.
But
I
of course,
know.
part of it is being familiar with the content before you get up there and not just doing it without having ever seen it, which is also very helpful too. All right. Other questions? You had a second question, didn't you, Lori?
Yeah, I host a podcast and I do video. I don't release the whole video of the podcast, but I got a ton of video and I find myself not using that. I just wondered if you have any strategies for finding ways to repurpose the video that you do record. I live stream, I do like live Q&As. I do a lot of that, but I don't do anything with it. It just sits there. So,
So there are a lot of platforms that you can use. I have a couple that I bought from AppSumo. You know, I have like Chopcast, and I just bought something called Minvo. A lot of the people, my friends, use Descript, which I believe you can do, and has that sort of, I mean, I tried it, and it has the sort of the typewritten, I don't know what it would be called, to make editing easy. I will give you another one. Riverside. I think it's riverside.io, but Riverside has a fairly, I've used that a few times. I like to have a lot of options because if I want to do a lot, I don't want to run out of time and have to spend money, but they have a pretty robust one also. But, you know, do that. I mean, it's just some of these things. What platform do you use for your podcast? Do you do it on a, what platform do you use?
so I record on Zoom. So it's an interview podcast. So I record on Zoom, and then I pay to have it edited. And then when I live stream, I use StreamYard, and then I host it on Buzzsprout.
Okay. So I also host on Buzzsprout, and I use StreamYard. So if you go on StreamYard, and you can only do it from your library of content that you have up there, but you know that you can go and like do the editing, right? You can go in and edit on StreamYard. Okay. If you click in your library, then you will see the ability up in the corner to edit your video. So let's say you have a 30-minute video that you've done on StreamYard, you're live streaming. You can go down and you can manually choose different sections, save that section as new, and then make clips that way. But you can also, they have something now in beta. I have it. I think everybody has. Do you have a pro version? You don't have the free?
Yeah, I pay for it.
Okay. So you pay for it. So look on the bottom, go to the library, and then click on a video, any video. It'll open it up full, and then you will see the ability to edit and cut. If you look underneath the video, they've just started this beta thing, and it will do it automatically for you. So put in the video and then look right underneath. You'll see something that says create clips, and it's in beta, and you just click a button and you sit there and watch it. It does it for you. And then of course you can edit them. So, you know, I just did a how-to video on that I posted recently. So it's something kind of new, but give that a try since you already have it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
You've heard me mention before, ladies, about AppSumo. That is where I've gotten several different pieces of software. Take a look at it. It will benefit you. There are courses on there. There are educational things. There are different software, and you can just put in what you're interested in. I generally buy the lifetime deals so that I'm not going back and having to pay for something. And many times what I will do is go to the actual site to see what they're charging, and then what AppSumo will charge. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a good thing. I just bought a couple things before they ended the other day, and I think it's well worth it. And once you get on there and sign up, you can get $10 off your first thing, and just keep going for it. It's a great thing. All right, now, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say something because I use it too and I absolutely love it. And one of the things I love about it is if you buy something, you have 60 days to turn it back. No questions asked, because I've done that a couple times. So if you're looking at something, you think, let me try it. If you don't like it, take it back.
Which is wonderful too. I'll have to look at that Minvo. I think that was a deal. I may have missed that one. Was that recent?
Yeah, it was one of the ones that was kind of running out. So so I grabbed that. I'm always grabbing things that I think. And one thing I will mention, do you have I just switched to their TidyCal, which their calendar lifetime. It's like Calendly, only it's like you have it forever. And they have like a Linktree thing, a couple of Linktree things too that you can use.
What's the name of the calendar one you just got?
Tidy Cow. It's their
I
brand.
thought about that. I looked at that too.
Yeah.
So ladies, as you hear us talking about these, go in there and just take a look. And you can start in two places I would recommend. One is Ending Soon, so that you can see what those are and make sure that you're asking for the lifetime deal. And the other thing is there's an area that you can click on freebies, and they have some good items that are free as well. So take a look. I told you guys about this a couple years ago, and just take a look and see what's going. All right. AppSumo needs to pay me. Here we go. So I want to ask you then, Annette, for us as resume writers or coaches, what suggestions do you have for us that we could do that would be helpful with our business to use videos for? And the other thing I want to ask is, isn't TikTok really supposed to be for the younger people? Are they really looking at some of these things? All right, I see you both shaking your heads no. Okay, talk to us.
Okay. So, I not long ago, I was talking to a sort of an acquaintance of mine about TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I don't have a huge following. I have like 1,300 and something followers. That's not a lot. And I'm guessing, because I don't know her that well, I'm guessing she's probably in her late 40s, early 50s. She's like, oh, my kids told me I'm too young. That is just so not true. It is not all just clever dog videos, although they have a lot of them that I follow. It's not like it's all like dancing grannies, although there is some guy who's on there like dancing every night with disco music in the back. Every once in a while it comes up in my feed and I'm like, oh my goodness. And he's got thousands of people watching him. But anyway, there are a lot of people just like you that are on there. There is a TikTok teacher. She is a woman in her mid 60s, and her handle is it's either the mothership or mothership, and the mother is MUTHER. She is fabulous. She's always on there showing all kinds of different things to do. So no, it is not for. There are so many business people on there. I follow a few coaches that I've learned a ton from. So no, no, no.
Well, there's a lot of controversy though too with TikTok. We've seen that come through politically.
Yeah.
About some
Well,
of those things. Yeah.
I know that which is why I mentioned the CapCut. I know there are some people that are very sensitive and don't want to be on TikTok for various reasons. That's obviously, you got to do what's right for you. I'm curious to see how things shake out. I know that, TikTok, I read recently is going to be launching another site. It's called, I believe it's called TikTok Notes, which is going to be sort of a rival for Instagram. And if you have a TikTok account, and they've been pushing, have templates for pictures and things like that, that your images would just go right into your new account. So I don't know. We have to see how things shake out. It's hard for me to believe that a platform where literally millions of Americans make their living will be gone. But we'll see. You never know.
Yeah, it comes from China, but I'm not sure they let their people watch it. That was the other thing that came up.
No,
that
they
was
have
really
they have
crazy.
they have a different app. They have a different version there. But I don't know. I'm
Sure.
kind of figuring I have my phone. If they really want to look, they can look on my phone
So
without
then
TikTok.
So Donna, you're on TikTok.
Oh, sure. I follow Annette on TikTok.
I don't know. Can you all believe Donna's on TikTok? I don't know. I'm just
You have a totally wrong concept of what TikTok is. You've only seen the dancing granny things. My neighbor Robert gets all his health information from TikTok. He follows different doctors and psychologists. All kinds of things like that. But no, it's not what you're thinking.
Thank you. All right. So then I'll go back to my question and ask, how can we as business owners utilize TikTok, and what kind of things maybe should we do that could be beneficial for us?
Information, quick bits of information where you can just say, if, all right, I'm just going to use something that I would say. So stop spending 2 hours to create a 2-minute video. Here's some tips for you. Record one line at a time. You can do that. And if you do, if you're recording one line at a time, you can just do it like that. Or if you want to, you can add some text and do things like that. You can also, if you are video shy, you can have an image and just have text over it.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then how do you get it out there so that people are seeing it if you're new
Well,
to TikTok?
it's like anything else. Look, there are a billion people on LinkedIn. How many people see the content you put on LinkedIn? Even people with, I follow a couple of people with hundreds of thousands of followers, and still, everybody's not seeing it. You build it up like anything else. And again, the post more often. TikTok, they say post, 3 times a day. I used to post 3 or 4 times a week, and I've just been tied up doing other things. I haven't been doing it as much.
Okay. Other questions?
Comment. Did you see Lori's comment in the
No,
chat?
Lori's
No,
daughter, Lori can share that. Go ahead, Lori.
My daughter just had spinal surgery. To correct scoliosis, and commonly as an adult, the only option for spinal surgery correction is called fusion, which is a horrible surgery. And so there is this innovative spinal surgery called anterior scoliosis correction, and these doctors that do it, they hold 8 patents, and we learned about it on TikTok.
There
yeah,
you go.
it's incredible. Look, I learned to cut my hair during the pandemic on TikTok, and I still cut my own hair because I hate to go to the beauty salon. So
there you go.
Well, perhaps
Rico, you learned something today, huh?
Well, I know that it exists certainly, and I've used, I know how to use some shorts in other areas and other things. So it's interesting. And it's also interesting that you're not using Facebook anymore. There's still a lot of people on Facebook that are utilizing it. Amanda, this may be an option for us if we want to consider it for getting some of our tips and things out during Update Your Resume.
Yeah, for sure.
yes, you should. You should, absolutely. And when I say I don't use TikTok, I have like a whole backstory about TikTok. I'm a person on TikTok. I only have like 35 friends because I don't want, I just.
You mean
Facebook? That's my.
You mean Facebook?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. What did I say?
TikTok, yeah.
Oh yeah, Facebook, because that's my private place. So it's different for different people.
That's what I think that people. She doesn't mean that nobody uses Facebook, but they aren't using it to find information on the job search or how to write a resume or that kind of thing. They're using it for their personal lives, for their.
Well, yeah. No, I didn't mean to disparage or say that people aren't on Facebook. I'm sure they are. I'm not. And so that's why if I'm doing a training or something, I don't talk about Facebook because I'm just not there.
Well, things do become a little antiquated and out of the loop. I get that. Like you mentioned AOL, not everybody's on it, I still have my AOL account from years ago because I just leave certain things over there, bless my heart.
Yeah, but you wouldn't put it on a resume.
No, my PayPal is attached to my old my initial one. And so I'm not going to change it up now, I don't guess. But, just trying to find ways that would be beneficial to people along the way. And I get that not everything is for everybody,
So I do have a video suggestion for you that you can use for your organization and people can use individually. You can think of a theme. For example, Motivational Mondays, Tips Tuesdays. You can do those, and that way you can fill up one day of the calendar. You can also try a series. I did a series around the holidays, and I did it 12 days of content creation tips. And I put one video out every single day for 12 days, like right before Christmas. And I had some people actually comment and say, oh, I'm waiting for it every day. I'm waiting for it to come up. And then I took that series and I cobbled it together and I put the video on YouTube and I downloaded all the cobbled together and I put that on my podcast. So, but if you think about stuff like that, but the themes and having just as you would any other platform, books you recommend, platforms you recommend. There's just all kinds of different things that you can do.
Wonderful.
Thank you for that. Somebody else? Nobody? Your presentation was wonderful. Absolutely.
Oh, well, thank you.
Wonderful. Yes.
I'm glad you found it helpful. I know I tend to talk quickly, particularly if it's a topic that I'm interested in. So I'm sorry if I, went
no.
too quickly.
You needn't apologize. No, it turned out very nicely, actually. Are you going to make the PowerPoint available to us? And I can share that with the people that were not able to be here?
I can, I'm happy to send you a PDF of the PowerPoint. I
Yeah,
don't send the PowerPoint itself.
No,
just
no, that's
because-
fine.
Nope, that's our
sure.
preference, actually.
Yeah, I didn't, I've been so tied up working on this course right now that I didn't create like a takeaway or anything for you. I'm sorry about
no.
that, but
Oh, no,
yeah,
that works
I'll
out
send,
nice.
I'll send you a PDF.
That works out nicely. Thank you very much. And well, her PowerPoint was done very nicely. You did not give us the death by PowerPoint where everybody's just reading it.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah,
Ugh,
you did it very, very nicely.
thank
What
you.
other questions might you guys have for her? Any? You all ready now to go out here and start doing a little video or doing something with
It's all in the mind.
going to be able to work with that. All right. Well, I want to say thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. It was absolutely wonderful, so informative. And I appreciate your time. We are, like I said, I will get the video to you so that you can do what you want to do with it.
Okay.
And get it up, and we'll make it available so that people can see along with to our members, along with the PDF of the PowerPoint that you send us. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having us. Can we
Annette.
thank her for being here today?
Thank you
Bye.
so
Thank
much.
you. It's been fun.
Thank
See
you
you in
all so much.
October.
Oh yeah.
All right. She was awesome. That worked out very nicely. Thank you again, Donna, for that.
Mhm.
Okay, well, it is 12:54, and believe it or not, we are done. Right? Done a few minutes earlier rather than a few minutes late. Is there anything else for the good of the order? If not, we're going to be able to get up out of here 6 minutes early. That works for me. All right, you guys. It's so good to see you all. We'll
It was
talk to you
nice
soon.
seeing all of you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.